Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am so excited because we are ranking my highlights, or I'm ranking my highlights. And I've done the blush version of this sometime during the summer. I'll try to link that below. But my blush collection was pretty difficult to rank, and I have that part of my collection is smaller than this part. I have 42 pans of highlighter across 26 products. So this is hard. It's taken me a while to kind of decide to do this because honestly it's like you're picking a favorite child. So I kind of been avoiding it, but here we are, we're doing this today. I will try to swatch some of them ones on my hand, have a little rag here. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's jump into Stila. Stila is at the bottom of my list, mostly because it's glittery and it's not a wearable formula all the time because it is blue and it is glittery. So it's a little harder to wear. Hopefully you can see that, but it is actually pretty. I bought this initially because I really wanted a blue glitter to go over the top of eyeshadows. And then I ended up trying it as a highlighter and I actually like it. It's my biggest complaint with these things, which is why the main reason why it's landing at the very bottom of my highlight list, is that you have to work one cheek at a time with this because it doesn't dry quickly, but once you put it on, if you don't really blend it out quickly, it kind of stays stuck without drying down quickly. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a little difficult to work with, I guess is the short of what I'm trying to say. So for that reason, it's landing at the bottom. And then the next one is kind of a similar reason. Not the most wearable thing, although what you're gonna see in this ranking video is that I very much love duochrome highlights. So it's not the fact that this is a duochrome highlighting palette and therefore at the bottom, because I actually have like duochrome highlighters in my top 5, but this one is not the best quality. It's just, it doesn't compare to some of the other ones that I have. So hopefully you can see, I mean, they're beautiful, they're fine, they work great, but horrible at swatches, can you not tell? But yeah, they just are not my favorite formula for duochrome highlighters. So for that reason, they're landing at number 25. And then we have 2 liquid highlighters. The first one being this Makeup Revolution one in the color Champagne. Really stunning, actually very beautiful, very easily, like it's not hard to work with. But the reason why I'm putting both of my highlights at the bottom towards the bottom of my ranking system is because I tend to use liquid highlights mostly as primers. So I was kind of making myself be a little bit more technical with this ranking. And I want to say again, there's nothing wrong with any of these products. I actually thoroughly enjoy all of these products, but I'm just kind of going based on how I use them and how often I use them, that kind of thing. Color preference, yada, yada, yada. So this one is coming in a little bit later. And then the next one is my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. And this one is gorgeous. I definitely use this. You have to be careful because the pump like gives you product. It is not shy about giving you product. This one's a little bit more subtle, but to me this is so perfect if you like to put highlight underneath your foundation. Like this is the perfect highlight primer in my opinion. I love this product. So next up we have a Wet n Wild Boozy Brunch highlight, and this one's pretty old school. I think this was popular years ago. Gorgeous. It's a little dark for me at certain times of the year, as you can see, but it's really beautiful. And actually because my highlighter collection has kind of expanded, the reason why this is kind of falling towards the bottom is that I tend to use this more as a body highlight nowadays because it's just, I'm usually a little bit more tan when I'm showing off body highlight. So this works for me in that case, and it's gigantic. I don't think I'll ever get through this unless I use it as a body highlighter. So for that reason, it's kind of towards the bottom. Nice, beautiful highlight though. And then I have my Essence Pure Nude highlight. Again, this is a lot of people's like ride or die favorite, and I have used a ton of mine. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the dome of mine is kind of wearing like, it's not quite as domed as it once was. And this one is beautiful, but in my preference is just that it's a little bit too, like I like a highlight that pops a little bit more. And to me, this one, it's buildable, but it's just not my favorite. There's nothing wrong with it. I just, I like something a little bit more intense. All right, coming in at number 18, I have my Pure highlight, which is the one I'm wearing today because it's in a project pan that I'm working on. And this is Feeling Frosty right here, and it's a nice gold, white gold highlight. I have to say, at first it wasn't my favorite, but it kind of has grown on me now that I've worked on it in this project so much. But yeah, mostly I think it's towards the bottom of my list at number 18 because it just is like, it's not like the most exciting color. It's kind of just your basic standard color. So for that reason, it's towards the bottom just because it's not something that makes me go, it's not incredibly unique is what I'm trying to say. And that also is the same for this next palette that I'm pulling here. I use this palette mostly for the blushes in it because this is the Blush Bazaar from, I think, last year. I actually don't even remember nowadays. But it has two blushes in here, this gold one and my pink one over here on this side. And as you can see, I tend to wear gold a little bit more. That one's a little bit more worn. And these highlights are absolutely fine. They're very beautiful. It's just, I don't tend to, because they're a little bit boring, they're a little bit just too standard. You can get these everywhere, these tones everywhere, like a million different highlights make these colors. So to me, it's just kind of like, it doesn't stand out. Now the blushes are spectacular. I love them. They're also in a year-long project that I'm doing, and I've been having a ton of fun using them all year. So yeah, the next one is a Becca Mini in Opal. And this was the first Becca highlighter that I ever tried, and I was super excited. Then the pan fell completely out and I had to repress it, so that's why it looks a little funky. It's a gorgeous highlight, a little dark for me certain points of the year. So again, this is probably my least favorite shade for that reason, just because it's not the most wearable in the like dead of winter. So for that reason, that is there. But I have one from ColourPop in the shade Wisp, and to me these are spot on color dupes of one another, but I prefer this formula 100 times over to the Becca one. So I'll show you that this is Wisp and then that's Opal, and when they're on your cheeks they look the exact same. So hopefully you'll be able to see, again, Wisp, Opal, Wisp. So it looks like a little darker on a swatch, but when you put it on your cheek with a brush or a sponge, it looks the exact same. And I have to say, like, this being like, what, $8, and the Becca highlights being like 30 something, like, it's ridiculous that these don't get enough people raving about them, in my opinion, because the formula is amazing. All right, this one is number 15, and this one here is number 14. This is my Wet n Wild highlight in the shade Precious Petals. And it's swatched right here. Very beautiful, like kind of peachy undertone to it. Very wearable, very, very flattering on my skin tone at least. And so this one is one of my favorites. Obviously, I've hit pan in it. The other one here is my Becca Champagne Pop highlighter, and I actually wanted to put them next to each other because in my opinion, they have kind of similar peachy gold undertones. So let me show you those next to each other. They're not exact dupes. Like, I think the Wet n Wild one is a little bit more pink, but on the cheeks they look both very flattering. So this is Becca and this is the Wet n Wild one. So not exact dupes, but they're both very flattering. If you like that kind of warm peachy undertone, you're gonna get that with both of those. And Wet n Wild one is way cheaper. So I did put the Becca one above the Wet n Wild one because I kind of just I like the packaging, I like the tone of it. So this one's a little bit lighter than the Wet n Wild one and a little bit easier to wear for me all year round for that reason. So that's why that's there. And coming in at number 12, I have my Cruella highlighter with ColourPop. And I have to say that I own 4 highlights from ColourPop, 4 of their Super Shock Cheek formulas. And this one is probably like, well, Wisp is a little just boring and a little too dark almost sometimes of the year, so it's a little bit lower. This one is, if you like glitter, or if you don't like glitter in your highlight formula, you won't like this one. This one definitely has flecks of glitter in it, but this one to me is a very fun, unique shade. Like, do you see it's got that really strong orange, almost peachy undertone to it? And because of that, I think that the uniqueness of it makes me actually excited to reach for it. When I want a like orange lip, this is a highlight I reach for. And actually this highlight with this look today would have been really beautiful, but I'm trying to pan the other one, so I'm trying to be good and just wear it. But this one is stunning if you like kind of bold looks. You will get what your money's worth out of this one. So yeah, it's not the most wearable one, but it is very beautiful for special looks, and I really enjoy those kind of things, so that's why it's falling where it is. Then we have number 11, and this is my Anastasia Amrezy highlight. I missed this highlight the first time it released, and they relaunched it last Christmas, and I managed to pick it up then because I had such FOMO and I could not kick it. And I have to say, it's beautiful, but it's not as intense as I thought it would be. So for that reason, it's kind of a little lower than even I would expect to rank it, just because you have to kind of build it up to get the intensity that like I was expecting from it. I think that, you know, having FOMO for so long, missing it and it coming back, I kind of expected to be blown away a little bit more than I was, but I still very much like it because I mean, it is coming in at number 11. All right, moving into my top 10, I have another cream highlighter, and this is Stila's Heaven's Hue highlight in Kitten. And this one is very beautiful. A little bit more neutral or slightly cool leaning in undertone, which I think is really fun. But I tend to wear a lot of warm looks, so I don't tend to reach for this one as much as I do other highlights in my collection that definitely lean way more warm. But love the formula. I would actually love to pick up a couple more shades of this guy because I just think the formula is spectacular. Moving into another cream formula is ColourPop Flexitarian, and this one is gorgeous. This one gets a ton of praise here on YouTube, and rightly so. If you like a blinding highlight, this is your guy. Wow, can you see that? I mean, it's beautiful. It's just the reason why it's falling at number 9 for me is because it's just not my favorite one. You'll see I have another one further up in the rankings that I like a little bit more. The shade works for me a little bit better than this one does. But this one is so fun. This one is one that I pull like for fancy nights out kind of things. Then I have this little guy from Ofra. This is a sample of Blissful, I think it is called. I think they describe it as a bronze with rosy undertones. And this one, again, it can be a little dark on me if I'm not careful, but if I like use a light hand and really blend it out, it's gorgeous. This was the first Ofra highlighter that I ever tried, and I fell in love with the formula on this thing. So as you'll see there, you'll see another one in here. This one is falling towards the bottom of my ranking for my Ofra highlighters that I own, just because this tone is a little harder to work with in the winter for me. But oh my God, I think it's stunning. I really love that shade, especially in the summer. I love that. The next one is a Maybelline highlight, and this is the Puma collection, like collaboration that they did. And so again, I love duochrome highlighters, and this has a really cool pink gold shift. And this one is gorgeous in my opinion. It pulls, now on my cheeks, I wish it pulled a little bit more. Can you see it right here? My hand's starting just to all look shiny. But it pulls a little bit more gold on my skin tone. I wish it pulled a little bit more pink than what it does, but I still think that the formula is super nice and the color of it is beautiful, and I enjoy wearing it quite a bit. So this one's definitely up there in my ranking. Coming in at number 6, I'm surprised that this one is here and not higher, but I recently got another palette that has bumped this one to where it is. I love this palette so much. I picked it up at TJ Maxx like a year or so ago now, because I had not tried Anastasia highlighters at the time, and this one was on clearance, and at the time I had a really bad habit of just buying everything that was on sale. And had I not tried this palette, I don't think I would have fallen in love with duochrome highlights like I have. But this palette to me is so fun. Now, some of these shades are super intimidating. That is a bright blue. I mean, hello, that's no joke. And definitely you have to want a blue highlight that day. There's no real way to turn it down. Same with this purple. Like, you have to want a purple highlight that day to like not be intimidated. But some of these shades, this one here and this one here, they are super wearable in my opinion, and I think that they don't get enough, which one? Yeah, these two here. They don't get enough like credit in my opinion. Like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. So yeah, they're right there. See, it's just a peachy undertone, kind of orange leaning, kind of what this one is, but it's, in my opinion, a little bit more beautiful. So, oh, I love these duochrome. I love anything that kind of shifts orange or pink. If you give me a highlight that shifts orange or pink, I'm all in, like all in. And then this white one, again, super intimidating, but if you want to tone down some of the other ones, I think it's so smart to have it in this palette. And actually, I even like to throw this on my cheekbones, and then over the top I go in with the opal or the opal dupe, the Wisp highlight from ColourPop, and it kind of tones down, it like mixes together really well, and it doesn't make this one, makes this one less dark and this one less white, and they're just a really nice combination together. I love this palette so much, so much. So as I profess my love for most of these palettes, and especially the last one, now hopefully you get the intensity of the love in which I feel for these next 5. We're entering my top 5 here. Here we go. Number 5 is Lunch Money from ColourPop. And this is one that I think I hit pan on naturally. I don't think this one was in a project. So hopefully you can understand that this one gets so much love for me because it's special. These formulas are my favorite. If I could find every color that I wanted in these formulas, I probably wouldn't even buy other formulas, but there are certain shades that just come in other formulas that you can't get in these. So for that reason, oh, tell me that's not beautiful. If you have a slight, like, neutral to warm undertone and you're looking for a highlight, this one is the one that I would suggest over Flexitarian, over any of the other ones. If you're my skin tone or similar and you lean a little, again, neutral to warm, you like a gold highlight, it's so beautiful. Such a beautiful highlighter. Love it. Number 4 is my duochrome highlighting palette that recently upstaged my other Anastasia one, and it's another Anastasia one. This is the Dream Highlighter Palette from ABH, and these shades are beautiful. I was gonna pick this up I was planning once I hit pan on the other Anastasia palette, I was gonna justify picking this up, but I found it at TJ Maxx super cheap. Like I think it was maybe less than $20 or so, and because I found it on sale, I just went ahead and bought it because it was gonna be mine one day anyways. And I have to say, I kind of didn't know what to expect with these. I was wondering if they would be more intense duochrome and be possibly less wearable. But to me, all of these shades are wearable every day. I have worn all of these to work and they still have that duochrome shift to them, still very beautiful. This yellow shade is so beautiful. Let's see, Wish, so gorgeous. Let's see, Regal. I mean, just stunning. I love, you can't really see it very well because my hands are covered in like highlighter, but oh my God, they're all very, very wearable, very beautiful. I love this palette and it's still new to me, so I think there's still time for me to kind of fall more in love with it, and possibly, you know, maybe a year from now, my rankings might be even just slightly different because I have a feeling that the more I use this, the more I'm gonna fall in love with it. Coming in my number 3 spot, I have an Ofra highlighter here, and this is in the shade Rodeo Drive. And again, I know this is kind of just a boring yellow shade. There's nothing duochrome about it, but the formula of this is stunning. Every time I wear this, I'm just kind of wowed at how much I like it on my cheeks, even though it is such a boring color. So the fact that I think this formula is what kills this for me. It's like, golly, the formula is just so nice that I can't not be in love with it. So it is coming in at number 3. And I also want to give a shout out to this this little palette here. I traveled with this quite a bit this summer, and the bronzer in here was great. The blush was beautiful. I really enjoyed this little palette quite a bit. Very nice. And then moving into number 2, I have my glow kit from Anastasia in the Sugar. This is the Sugar glow kit. And this one has a little bit of everything. All of these shades work for me. I really like all of them. So this Gumdrop shade right here is a duochrome pink to gold. It's not my favorite duochrome in my collection, but if I want a duochrome, it's there. So I really do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy that it has a duochrome in it, even if it's not my favorite duochrome. It's still a very stunning shade, and obviously I've used it quite a bit, so I can't really be complaining about it. Starburst is a really nice pinky shade that works, again, when I want something a little cool tone, a little pink, a little icy, very pretty. Marshmallow, love it. Yeah, Butterscotch even isn't too dark for me, even though it might look a little bit that way. Very, very beautiful. All of these shades work for me, and for that reason, this is in the number 2 spot for me. And coming in at my number 1 spot, drum roll, I have my favorite highlighter. It is the Diamond Dust highlighter from Laura Geller. This one was one that I picked up as a sample from Ulta, this little guy. Early on, I think maybe at the time I owned like this one highlight, maybe owned the Pure Nude one too. So I was really, at the time I kind of thought, I can't wear highlighter. Like, I'm a little too old. I can't do it. Because, you know, people warn you that if you put highlighter on textured skin, it's gonna show wrinkles and stuff. And so at the time I was fully buying into that belief, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it's true. I don't love any of these enough to like be crazy into a highlighter. Then I tried this little guy that came in a little sample. I remember getting it in the car and I opened it up before I drove away, and I like swatched it, and I remember thinking, oh, heck no, that is straight pink. I cannot wear that. And then I got home, put it on my cheeks, put my blush on. I always put my highlighter on before my blush, and put it on and put on my blush. And I remember being like just shocked. I loved the look on my face. At the time I wasn't wearing a lot of eyeshadow. I was kind of just doing complexion products, and this to me is the perfect, like if I don't have a ton going on, nothing, especially nothing like this on my eyes, like this is my perfect natural work day appropriate highlight, because it does shift a little pink, but it's not crazy, and it's beautiful. It looks stunning. And this highlight is what got me. This is the reason why I have 42 pans over 26 products in my collection, is because this guy did it to me. So I noticed Ulta stopped selling them, so I went ahead and I've managed to find one, thank goodness, at TJ Maxx, and I have my backup of it. So finally, I'm gonna use up my little sample guy. I think I've been like really attached to this thing, so you may see this in an upcoming project pan, but this one is the reason that I love highlight, because it's just stunning. I know it looks kind of, it kind of looks meh on my hand maybe to you, but I think this thing is so special, and it's definitely my favorite highlight I've ever tried. Okay, that is everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed my little ranking. I know I enjoy all these highlights. Let me know if you've done something like this, or let me know in the comments what your favorite highlight is. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.